All right. So here we go. We're going to watch this video from, talking about Bilal Abdul Kareem, who is a dude from New York, was a stand-up comedian, converted to Islam. You know what? Let me read his read his biography here a little bit here. This guy, Bilal Abdul Kareem, he was born in Mount Vernon, New York. Mount Vernon has its rough spots, don't get me wrong, but born Daryl Lamont Phelps. Grew up in Mount Vernon. Studied creative writing. He was at SUNY SUNY. And before going to work in stand-up comedy, worked for a Saudi-funded television channel, Huda TV. He left due to disagreements. Traveled to Rwanda and Libya to film documentaries before arriving in Syria in 2012, where he was first hosted by Tahrir al Sham, basically Islamist and Salafist units that coalesce into a single brigade. I mean, this guy is so full of crap. After initially working with mainstream news outlets such as Sky News and BBC, he helped found On the Ground News. Oh boy! I mean, the thing is, this guy is ridiculous. Let's hear his. Yeah, he survived being shelled by a Syrian army tank in Idlib, but was wounded by shrapnel. He was with Sky News reporters during the attack by just autocan. This sounds like bullshit. And he was arrested by Hayat Tahrir al Sham. This guy is a complete shill. And let's hear this guy. He owns himself. I don't even really have to say anything, but let's hear this bullshit, because this guy is so full of it.
Right over here, another airstrike.
My name is Bilal Abdul Kareem, and I'm a journalist originally from New York. I spent about 6 months plus in a Hayat Tahrir al Sham prison in Syria. I was arrested by Hayat Tahrir al Sham in August of 2020.
This is ridiculous. This goes to show how much of a collaborator this guy was. Like I say, disagree with Bashar al-Assad and his regime all you want to, but this guy was an open fucking collaborator with, Salafists and folks that are getting support from Turkey. Hayat Tahrir al Sham openly gets support from Turkey so that they can, like I say, they don't give a shit about these folks. It's the same thing with the Free Syrian Army. They sent them from Syria. They sent them down to Libya, and then they sent them over to Nagorno-Karabakh, all to do the fighting of Turkey. They were nothing but shills. It's the same thing with Hayat Tahrir al Sham. They have this LARP belief, and just unbelievable how much of a collaborator this guy was. Let's listen to this.
It came approximately 2 hours after I did a report that was highlighting the serious and numerous allegations of torture in the prisons under Hayat Tahrir al Sham's control. And I asked the very public question, what is Hayat Tahrir al Sham's public position regarding torture? After I did the report, I left my office, went to the gym, did a quick workout, and when I was on my way home, I stopped at a masjid, and there were several cars with masked up people, and I was arrested.
Isn't that nice? I mean, you can just imagine just how, you can just vibe, do a little reporting, and then you do a workout, you go to a masjid, and then you go home and you're just chilling out, just another day, right? Why do you go to another country and get stuck into shit? Yeah. Face the music of your actions and then bitch about it. Yeah. This guy is absolute, like I say, this guy owns himself though. And it takes a bit, but he does. Worked for the BBC with Sky News, promoting all the, whoa, look how bad Assad is. And then he learns that Hayat Tahrir al Sham isn't that great. And he's like, well, am I against that? Well, no, but
under arrest. After I was arrested, I was taken to a cell, and then I was taken for interrogation. I was blindfolded and handcuffed. I was asked, do you know who is holding you prisoner? And I said, yes. And they said, you're being held in the prison of Hayat Tahrir al Sham, which puts the lie to the lips of the leader of Hayat Tahrir al Sham, Abu Muhammad Jolani, who maintains that Hayat Tahrir al Sham has no prisons, and that these are the prisons of the Salvation Government. Nobody here gives any credence to the Salvation Government. I doubt that there's 1 in 100 people who could even tell you who the president of the Salvation Government is, because everyone knows that he wields no power. And that's the reality of the situation. After I was arrested, and then they said, okay, this is interrogation. We need to ask you some questions. If your answers are not forthcoming, then we do have the authority to physically do things to you so that you will tell us what we need to know. They lined me up against the wall, and as if they were about to start beating on me. And I just said, okay, well, go ahead and do it. And they ultimately didn't do it, but I was then sent back to my cell. And basically, I stayed in my cell in different prisons for the next 4.5 months. And I had no lawyer. I had no access.
What the fuck do you expect? I'm dead honest with you. Do you think the whole world is America? Dude, do you think the whole world is America? Like, of course they're going to give me a lawyer. Duh. No, idiot. Why do you think a Salafist country, and better yet, just is more of a it's more of a puppet state. It's a puppet state of Turkey. Why do you think a puppet state of Turkey under Salafist control would allow you to have a lawyer? Why? In what world? In Idlib province.
To anybody on the outside, I was just gone. That was my situation. I myself personally was not subjected to any type of physical torture. I was in solitary confinement for more than 6 months. However, almost every day of every week, I had to listen to the screams of torture going on in other areas that are just a few meters away from me. So everyone in the prisons can always hear the torture. That's why when the HTS leader, Abu Muhammad Jolani, stated that there's no torture in the prisons, everybody...
Yeah, being interviewed by PBS. And they did recently have that documentary. I didn't even bother to watch it because I knew it was bullshit. But the supposed ex-leader of Al-Qaeda is now running, Hayat Tahrir al Sham, and the leaders is the leader in Idlib province. But apparently he's a good guy, according to the Americans. This is why Jesus wept.
He have found that to be comedic. He's just not being genuine with the people, period. That's the reality of the situation.
Your trial is about.
As I was told when I was arrested, when I said that I want to have a lawyer and I want to see a judge, they said, this is the security division. There is no lawyer and there is no judge. Well, I was maybe assuming that was part of a scare tactic, but it wasn't. The joke was on me.
You're what? Is this guy a moron? I'm not even trying to be racial here. Is this guy a moron? This guy's been in. Let me take a look here. I just want to make sure here. This dude was in Syria since he filed a lawsuit against the U.S. claiming that they had attempted to assassinate him. Disposition matrix. The judge also distinguished the case from previous killings of you. Okay. The thing is, so this dude's been in Syria for years, and more specifically has been in Idlib province. Protested the arrest of Hayat Tahrir al Sham, citing any lack. So this guy's been in Syria for years doing work for Sky News, working for the Anglos, and then he expects somehow that people that they're going to treat him right. I guess he really thought that they were cool, because he talks about that later. Like, come on, man.
There was, I had no access to a lawyer of any kind, and
you've been working side by side with these folks for years. You just thought that somehow that they were going to have the same rules as it was in the U.S.
The actual judicial process, if you want to call it that, was as follows. After I was in prison for 4.5 months, the guards came to my cell, knocked on the door, said, come with us. They put a blindfold on me and shackles on my hands. Then they put me in a van and they took me to another location. Removed the shackles, removed the blindfold, and said, your trial is about to start. So I said, well, you know what? I've been in prison for 4.5 months, and I have no access to a lawyer. I have no access to call any witnesses. I have no access to the internet, so I can see the context of whatever statements that you're going to charge me with. 10 years of bloodletting and fighting, this is the type of justice that we can expect from your rule.
What the fuck did you expect? What in the fuck did this dude expect? He's been, like I say, he's been in Idlib. He's lived there for years. And he doesn't realize that this is what they do. He knew about the torture and all this, and he ignored it because he thought that he was actually, like, he was one of the club. You know, this dude really thought he was one of the club, and now suddenly he realizes, oh shit, you mean they're actually the, I hate to use the whole meme because lefties have used it to death, but it's like that SS guy who says, are we the baddies? This is literally like the are we the baddies moment.
And basically it was like, okay, duly noted. Let's continue.
Yeah.
So I knew at that point that it was all fake. At this point, I'm in prison now for 6 months. And they said, okay, next week we'll come back and we'll give you your verdict and or release or sentence. I went back to my cell and I knew that there had to be some face saving going on here. When I was called back into the room a week later, they said, charge number 1, incitement against the authorities, guilty. Charge number 2, defamation, guilty. Charge number 3, meeting with / knowing the location of wanted persons, guilty. And I'll just explain this part. You see, they gave me nothing in writing. So my charge of meeting with / knowing the location.
This is what Americanism does to your brain. I'm serious. This is what happens with idiotic Americans. Like I say, and I'm sorry, this is something that black folks do. I'm sorry. White folks do it too. I know they do. White folks do it too. But he's gonna bring up Malcolm. He's gonna bring up Nelson Mandela and Malcolm X. It's like, you think they give a shit? You think they really give a shit? Like, oh yeah, well, we all know Malcolm X. Oh, well, geez, I'm so sorry. You mean Mandela and Malcolm X were fighting for freedom? Those are the two most disparate people that you could ever meet, right? The two people that would be not connected at all. Nelson Mandela and Malcolm X. It's like, no. It's like Malcolm X, I think, would maybe have respect for Nelson Mandela to a point, but would probably not like him because he ultimately, once he got released, he went, he went pussy, And just, Western shitlib journalists over in Syria. Are we the baddies? Exactly.
Of people, it changed during the actual trial, but I had no defense against it because they never gave me my charges in writing. And the 4th charge was having relations with groups that are threatening security. Once again, guilty. 3 months for each charge. I do a year in prison. I burst out laughing. I thought it was the funniest thing. They didn't like that so much. They said, why are you laughing? I said, I'm laughing because I used to do stand-up comedy, but I can't write jokes like you guys. I said, there is no justice in this. There is no Islamic justice, no secular justice. There's no justice in this at all. This is.
Oh, please. What did he think? What did he seriously think Islamic justice was going to be? What did he seriously think was going to be? What did he think secular justice was going to be? He's so, like I say, though, he's so deep in it. Even in May, he's still putting out tweets like, let me go ahead and show y'all right quick. Let me go ahead and show y'all because this is just ridiculous. Hold on. He's still putting out this type of crap. Hold on. Give me a minute. I'm going to show y'all. He's still putting out crap like this. He's still putting out recalls the screams of those being tortured in Hayat Tahrir al Sham prisons. This guy's full of shit. I'm doing this interview. I'm putting myself at risk.
I'm putting myself in jeopardy. But to give a voice to the voiceless, that's why I came.
Oh, please. You did it because you thought it was a better opportunity for you. Don't try to make it seem like you were doing some hero shit. No, man. You weren't doing any hero shit. The white helmets, of course. Serious civil defense. Give me a break, man. Let me see. He's still putting out crap like this back in May. Let me see here. I'll scroll down a little bit. Explain this to me. Separating children from their parents. Okay. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Still talking shit about Bashar al-Assad, though. See, say what you will, but it's like, yeah, it's this kind of rhetoric that all oppressors use to justify their bogus rule. 10 years of war, widespread poverty, currency in free fall. Well, let's see here. 10 years of war. That's not due directly to him. Widespread poverty, that has to do with the fact that people, that the U.S. and Israel wanted to support the destruction of Syria because they didn't want to build their pipeline for Genie oil. Let's see here. Currency in free fall. Once again, you can blame them. Millions of refugees still in camps. And 95% of those who voted thought Bashar al-Assad was a good idea. I can't write stand-up comedy this good. Oh, wow. And yet you still, like I said, then who do you fucking support? Like I said, this is the most, it's just such cope. Where they're just like, well, we don't like Assad. We don't like these other groups. But we want a real leader. It's just like, no. The fact that you still beg for a leader proves that you're just fucking stupid. Jeez. Just thought maybe put the stream topics ideas. Oh, okay. Just a thought. But maybe put the stream topic ideas in the description for people. Oh, okay. Yeah, I got you. I'll do that. I will do that. Let me see if I can do that. Yeah, okay. Okay, so yeah. Wow. Apologist. For what is it, 6 months? There we go. There we go. Okay, I'll save that for next time. There we go. Yeah. But yeah. Yeah. Push economic safety net, attack Syrian farms. USA, look how bad Assad is. Exactly. Yep, exactly. Controlling the oil fields and all of that. That's just, like I said, it's Assad's fault, bro. Oh, sorry. Sorry about that. Let's go back to here. Here we go.
Political because I exposed your torture ring. And that's why I'm here.
No, it
days
isn't.
when I was in prison, I had no regrets. And it was told to me after.
Because they knew that you would whine and complain. They're just like, dude, we're not even going to bother torturing this guy. We're just going to arrest him for a little bit so that we can forget about him. And then we're going to drop him like a hot potato, you know? This guy got to go out, you know, go do a brief workout and then go to the masjid and then go back home. Sounds like he had a good ass life, didn't it? Under, under the, Salafist rule. But yeah, go ahead, bro.
I had been pronounced to have to spend a year in prison, and this was at the 6-month mark. I was told by the warden of the prison that if I did a plea for clemency, they would release me early. And I said, do I have to apologize for what I did? They said, yes, but it's just a small thing. I said, go back and tell them I will not apologize. I said, do you know who Nelson Mandela was? He said,
what does that have to do with anything?
Yes. And I said, do you imagine that he was going to apologize for wanting, for fighting for civil rights? I said, do you know who Malcolm X was? He said, yes. I said, do you imagine that he would have apologized for fighting for the due and just rights that his people, our people, deserved? And
oh, please. Malcolm X always fought for black folks. All right. Take that for a good or a bad, but that's the truth. He always did it for black folks. He gave lip service to Islam, but I think in general, he did it for black folks. Let's be honest. How could you compare in any way? Because the thing is, notice that he had to say, Malcolm X separately, because the reason Malcolm X was in jail was because he got busted and he, for robbing houses out in Boston, but it's like this guy.
I said, go back and tell them I absolutely positively will never apologize, and I'll stay here for the other 6 months. So I'm saying that to say that, look, what this whole thing was all about justice. That's what the whole thing was about from the start.
Justice?
And having...
Justice for who? Obviously, it's not for the people getting tortured. You don't give a shit about them. You didn't try to free them. You didn't try to call somebody in or call Turkey or whoever else to say, hey, come get these folks released that are getting tortured. You don't give a shit about them. It's about your justice. Don't lie to people.
A press that is going to be willing to put their necks on the line to be able to expose wrongdoing when it's there, and to put certain things out there for public scrutiny. That's a part of any healing process. That's a legitimate process. Anybody that wants to stifle that, then I question whether they are actually going to be the legitimate rulers.
Once again, this guy was with Hayat Tahrir al Sham for years. And now that he was in prison, he's like, well, I question your legitimacy. No shit. The thing is, once again, they're getting support from Turkey. This is very well known. Hayat Tahrir al Sham is getting support from Turkey so that they can maintain their LARC country, so that they can maintain their LARC land. Give me a break, dude. This is just... What's going on, Jawad? And then he says this, oh, I'm going to question your legitimacy, but I had a good relationship with Hayat Tahrir al Sham.
Well, my past relationship with them was good. What does that mean? Well, that means that I would go to battlefront with some of their fighters. I would do interviews with some of their with some of their members. But then once I started to do interviews with the mother of one individual who was killed under torture in Hayat Tahrir al Sham's prison. His name is Marwan Unqi. I did an interview with his mother. Their politics towards me changed. Some of their members said to me, Bilal, we thought you were cool. And I said...
So this guy doesn't even realize that the people that he's supposed to be cool with are actually doing torture stuff like that they said that what Assad was doing. He says this. He says, well, this is what you said that Assad does, and you're the ones that are doing it. He doesn't even realize the hypocrisy of it. He doesn't even realize it. And he doesn't want to. That's the whole thing. He has built up this idea of, Hayat Tahrir al Sham are just some legit guys, just an apologist doing propaganda for them. And now he's like, well, but, oh, man, this guy. I'll let him speak for himself, though.
Well, you know what? If covering up your torture means that I'm cool, then you know what? Go back and tell them that I'm not cool. And I'm not going to be cool, because that's not what I came here for. So
I came here to do propaganda so that we can, do support for BBC and Sky News and stuff like that. We came here to do that. We didn't come here because we want to see torture and stuff like that, I swear that this guy is a moron. And he dares, like I say, how dare this guy bring up, he says, you know who, Nelson Mandela is? Do you know who Malcolm X is? Absolutely. This is Americanism right here. This is Americanism, where it's like, you think that you can bring up Nelson Mandela and Malcolm X and think that these people, and I know these people, but that members of Hayat Tahrir al Sham in Idlib, these Salafists, really give a shit about Malcolm X or Nelson Mandela. Why do you think they would care? Why? You thought that they were fighting for freedom compared to just an absolute idiocy.
In the past, our relationship was good, and it was very amicable. But it changed around 2018 when I was obligated to do reports about torture and some of the wrongdoing that they were doing. Now, what took place before 2000?
So hold on. He went to jail in 2020. So he had been doing reporting on torture and saying it's nonsense, it's bullshit for 2 years. And he was okay with it. He had interviewed somebody's mom who had been tortured and killed by Hayat Tahrir al Sham in their prisons, but it didn't bother him.
2018, and what was the change that happened? Well, the change is simple. They came to power. The point of the matter here is that I cover that which is apparent. If people are fighting on the front,
this guy cannot be this. He cannot be this naive. I'm dead serious. You cannot be this naive about what Hayat Tahrir al Sham is, or what they were doing in Syria. You cannot be naive. You cannot. Feel as you want to. Like I say, once again, I'm trying to be a centrist here, but feel as you want to about Bashar al-Assad. You cannot be this much of a shill and just be like, I had no idea. Once they took power, they turned into bad guys. It's just like, where have you been, dude?
Lines, and they're being heroic in that. That's what I saw. That's what I covered.
Mm-hmm.
Once these people come to power,
they're heroic, huh? They're so heroic. What did they do? What did they do that was so heroic? He doesn't go into detail about that. What did they do that's so heroic? Did they save people? Did they build homes? Did they try to, I don't know, whichever you want to say. What did they do?
And then they start doing things other than that which they said. They promised to bring Islamic rule. They didn't do it. They promised to bring justice. They didn't do it.
Oh, please. What do you think Islamic rule is, bro? Yeah. When Assad provides a stable government for his people, it's a dictatorship. When CIA-backed terror gangs ruthlessly murder civilians, it's 100% wholesome. Yeah, epic wholesome democracy. Exactly. Imagine just being this. This guy's such a tool. This guy's a puppet.
I was obligated to report those shortcomings, and that's when they turn.
He's trying to cover his ass so hard. He's just like, well, yeah, I mean, they were doing heroic things back in 2018 until they, once they took power, though, it kind of sucked. They were supposed to bring in Islamic rule. whatever the hell that meant. You know, I mean, what did this guy think was going to happen in terms of Islamic rule? I mean, this is what happens when idiotic Americans, especially American-born, this guy is born in the U.S., converted to Islam later. This is why I hate, and I can say this, I think, with all honesty, I cannot stand expats. Diaspora are pretty cringe too, but expats, I guess this guy could be called an expat. He's never going back to the U.S. He's in the same boat as people like Russell Bentley. He can never come back to the U.S. and he wouldn't want to. Neither would Russell Bentley. But they're both in that same boat of they have hitched their wagons to these LARP groups. Say what you will. Like I say, you can say what you will about the DPR or whichever. But the thing is, though, that they have hitched their wagons to these groups. And they're going to be forever puppets. That's all they're. They're going to be puppets and we'll just do what they say. Not to say, you know, I love the U.S. or whatever. No. You can say you hate the U.S. That's fine. But the thing is, though, you know that you can never go home. And you know that you're never going to see your family again. I don't even say that as, you know, a threat or anything else. He knows it's true. So does Russell Bentley. Yeah. Ruins culture, makes them shallow. Absolutely. Absolutely. But that's my opinion. Take it for what it is.
And hostile to. Well, regarding the statements that Abu Muhammad Jolani made in regards to Tawqir Sharif and his statements of torture in HTS prisons, if I can pretty much sum it up in 2 words, I could say that Abu Muhammad Jolani lied. And, you know, as I said, I've spoken to Hayat Tahrir al Sham members about this issue. And I even spoke to one member who basically got up there and said, no, he did tell the truth. So I looked at him like this. I said, what? He told the truth. There's no torture in the prisons. And he said, and I quote, Bilal, torture is not how you understand torture in the West. He said that it's allowed to show them something of punishment to get them to admit to their wrongdoing.
See, this is just, once again, this is retarded Americanism right here. Do you really think that the standards of morals and, you know, standards or whatever, you know, beliefs are standard across the world? You think that the U.S. is somehow, you know, that everywhere is just like the U.S.? What world do you live in, dude? The thing is, once again, is that this guy was pampered. He got to live in relative luxury in Idlib province where he got to just work out at a gym, this and that, and just go home and chill. He got that luxury. But because he decided to he didn't even push that far. But because of that, he was put in jail. They didn't even want to, you know, torture him because it's like, this guy is not even worth it. Look, let's keep him in prison for a while. We don't feel like killing him because all these people are protesting and they're all pissing, you know, getting pissy and whatnot. Just leave him, you know, just keep him in jail for a little bit. Just release him. We're so tired of his ass. This guy's bitching and complaining. You know, this is typical of black folks. I'm sure that's what they said. They're probably like, N-words are always like this, aren't they? You know, and that's what they're saying, not what I'm saying. But yeah, they're just like, this dude's talking about Nelson Mandela, Malcolm X. I'd be mad too. Like, man, shut your ass up. You don't even know who Nelson Mandela or Malcolm X were. You're just talking about that because you think that they're all brothers, that black folks are all the same all across the world. Come on, man. I'm not that stupid. God damn.
And I'm taking what I just said very, very seriously. This is exactly what was said to me in my living room by one Hayat Tahrir al Sham official. And I said to him, I said, well, issue number 1, you're starting to sound like the Americans. We're not calling it torture. We're calling it enhanced interrogation tactics or technique.
Oh my goodness. You mean the group that you LARPed for is no different than the U.S.? It's almost like it's no different. And the game doesn't change. It's just the players. It's almost like it doesn't matter. Holy shit. I'm 36 years old and I knew that. And I didn't have to leave the U.S. because I knew things were hypocritical. But this guy suddenly woke up to this? What turnip truck did this guy fall off of? What turnip truck? It's like, where the hell have you been?
Torture by any other name is still torture, which is the first thing. The second thing is beating people, hanging them, which is some of the tactics that they use, hanging them for long periods of time, whippings on the soles of their feet and the backs of their legs. These are the things that your leader, Abu Muhammad Jolani, condemned the Assad regime for doing. How is it that he's now doing the exact same thing
that sounds good.
that he condemned the regime from doing?
He doesn't even realize the hypocrisy of it. He doesn't give a shit. I think that's really the truth. He doesn't give a shit about the hypocrisy. He'll say stuff like, oh yeah, well, Assad, 10 years of war and all this. And it's just like, oh yeah, well, it's all Assad's fault. Your LARP group isn't going to take any sort of credit for that. He doesn't even realize it. He doesn't even realize it.
So just to sum up the whole thing, Abu Muhammad Jolani, point blank, he lied. Do I believe that Abu Muhammad Jolani is the...
But look at this. Look at this hypocrisy, though. He said, oh, Abu Muhammad al-Jolani lied. But is he a terrorist? Is he a terrorist, though?
Terrorist? I don't believe he's a terrorist.
He does. Look at this. This is why he's a hypocrite. This is what hypocrites do. I mean, this guy will make such a big thing about this shit and say, oh, well, people, they're getting tortured and he lied. But he's not a terrorist, though. He's just a liar. I mean, this is like saying, yeah, he took all my money, but at least he didn't beat me. This is the rationality that these people come into it, that they get into life with. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. If you'll give me just a moment, folks. There we go. That'll work. Okay. That's fine with me. Let's go ahead and let me see what this is here. We're getting to the end. Don't worry. Just unbelievable with these folks, man. Unfucking believable. Give me just a moment there. LA Times. Oh boy. Okay. Road Rage. Okay. We're going to see what this is about. All right. Yeah. Still shilling for a guy that put him in jail. Exactly. Yeah.
I think that I have serious issues with Abu Muhammad Jolani, but
he doesn't give a shit.
He
doesn't give a shit. He doesn't give a shit about whether you have disagreements with him. He's like, no, I don't give a shit, dude. You're just an American loser who we used up. This guy, this fool. I mean, I can't believe these type of people actually exist in this world. It's unbelievable to me, but it's true. It's unbelievable, but it's true that hypocrites like this will exist. Ugh, go ahead.
Sham is a terror organization? No, I don't see that. But that doesn't...
Why? So torture is okay, but that's not terrorism. I love that. I love it. Do y'all love that? Or he says they do torture, but he's not a terrorist. They're not terrorists. Well, I would call them puppets. I would call them puppets of countries like Turkey, where they get a lot of money from. And once Turkey decides that they're not worth it, I would probably say, yeah, Turkey's going to be like, we're going to turn off the tap. Fuck you guys. Good luck to you in Idlib, though. Sucker born every minute. Yeah, exactly. P.T. Barnum.
Doesn't necessarily mean that I support what they are doing since they've come to power. But to say that I think that they should be on a terrorist designated list, no. I want to be fair, and I don't.
You want to be fair? They're not terrorists. They just torture people. They just don't bring, they're just shills, I guess. I mean, oh, man. Can you, oh, my goodness. How could this guy have any credibility? I've barely heard of this guy. I remember seeing on Twitter, though, like, oh, yeah, yeah, this guy's in jail and everything. Oh man, he was such a hero. And then of course when I hear this guy, I'm like, this guy is full of shit. It's like, well, they torture people and stuff like that, and they, denied me all these, human rights according to this guy and all this, but never claims to negotiate with it. But it's only because they're the kingpins exporting terrorism. Exactly. They don't negotiate with terrorists. They are the terrorists.
Well, if they are pulling off attacks against innocent people, London, Madrid, France, and such like that, then sure, I'm going to be right alongside with you.
So what about what's going on in Syria itself? Where they're bombing people and, Daesh is still running around in Syria proper, doing, shooting people and all that sort of thing, killing, Syrian Arab army folks. That's not terrorism, I guess. I guess that's not terrorism. I guess that they're combatants and whatnot, this guy will find any way to try to legitimize it just so he can say, I still hate Assad, though. I still hate Assad. Even though, it's like, he doesn't even realize, it's like, no, this is just how people are, dude. It's the same thing when, like I said, this is one of the realities I think people need to realize. I think that there are a lot of morons out there who think that somehow socialism, there are a lot of genuine idiots who are just like, yeah, we're going to get rid of prisons, bro. No, prisons are not going away. Torture is not going to go away. You're not going to get rid of all this other shit. No, it's not going to happen. The system is ultimately going to remain the same. It's just going to be slightly different people. But we know that this system is on its last legs. That's why I promote balkanization, because this country is on its last legs. People really just want, it's opportunism to a point, but it's like people just want to get their, they want to be in the places like Joe Biden. They want to be able to have that sort of money and that sort of power. And that's the whole thing. That's what they secretly want. That's why they want this, that's why we want this country to break apart, so that we can have, we can have luxury, or we can, build somewhere out, so we don't have to deal with this bullshit anymore. So we don't have to be, we don't have to see this bullshit, like, what is it? Story, the queer story hour, this and that, the tranny story hour and all that shit, That's why. But yeah.
But there's no record of them doing it. I don't think he's a terrorist. I think
so your only definition of terrorist is, because they do bombings in London and France and whatnot. You think that they have relatives who may have, you think that individuals may have done that, but no, he doesn't give a shit about that.
That he's unfit to rule if he's going to continue on the path that he's continuing on now. But one thing that was clear to me was that he's looking for legitimacy from the West.
Yeah. And you help promote that, idiot. You help promote that by going on Sky TV and BBC. I've repeated that for like the 5th time now. You did that work. But you don't feel any responsibility. Well, it's his fault. He just wants legitimacy from the West. I didn't do anything to promote that, even though I've been talking about torture since 2018, the reports of Hayat Tahrir al Sham doing tortures, but I don't give a shit about that. This guy, I think he's such an opportunist, but he realizes that he has put himself into this hole, and he's just like, well, if I'm going to be in this hole, I'm going to bring as many people into this hole with me as I can. And that's really what he wants to do.
If he wants Western legitimacy and he wants to go after that,
I have no doubt about
that. That's fine. That's his business. But if he thinks that I'm going to stay silent while he tortures and indefinitely detains his way to power, well, as we say in America, I didn't come to Vegas to lose.
Oh, please. Nobody, he doesn't give a shit about you. See, the thing is, what you don't realize is that you were used, buddy. Is that you were being used. All right? They put you in jail probably to keep their masters happy, because that's the whole thing. They are puppets. I've said this this is like the 7th time I've said this, is that they do the work of countries like Turkey. They're doing the work of countries like Turkey so that they can reclaim more land. Feel as you want to, I'm not going to sit here and get into it. It's just geopolitics. But the thing is, though, when you realize that Hayat Tahrir al Sham gets paid by Turkey and is receiving weapons from Turkey, why are you surprised by that? And you're like, oh, he wants legitimacy from the West. Yeah, in some cases, because he wants to look good. You know, but once again, the West is going to take an L and we'll have to realize, oh, this is moderate rebel type shit again. No shit. No shit, Sherlock. Oh my gosh. They saw you as a security threat.
I have moved away from territories under the control of HTS. I did not feel comfortable in those areas.
You didn't feel comfortable. What gave you that clue when you were arrested? What was that? That you couldn't just live the life that you were leading before, where you could just go and work out and just la-di-da around? This is, once again, this is cosmopolitanism. It's Americanism, but it's also cosmopolitanism, where it's just like, you know, he just expects everywhere to be like the U.S. Like, I wanted a lawyer. I wanted all this sort of thing. This is just American childishness. That he just thinks that, you know, but let's hear more of this bullshit.
Was told by their official that, Bilal, we consider you to be a threat to security in these territories. In another meeting which I had,
oh, it's the Biden government. Yeah,
ago,
you're
they
right.
Told me that they considered me to be more of a threat in these territories than an ISIS suicide bomber. These are statements which came from them. The reason he said
he did well. I'll answer GSP's question. He did government. He did, you know, he did work for BBC and Sky News. So yeah, let me read this here. So he was this guy just sounds like he's just so full of shit. He survived being shelled by a Syrian army tank in Idlib, but was wounded by shrapnel. He was with Sky News reporters during the attack. Bilal covered crew survived by shelling by a jet's autocannon. Huh? Wait a minute. Survived shelling by, okay, yeah. Jet's autocannon on the Hama front line. Oh, boy. Yeah, the government filed a subsequent motion to dismiss the case that would not go forward. This guy thought that he was being pursued by the U.S. government, that they were trying to kill him. This guy is ridiculous. So this guy did work for, you know, the BBC, did work for the British, basically, to say, oh, well, yeah, Hayat Tahrir al Sham is a great group, folks. And he decided to leave. Yeah. Saw the Jason Unruh video about you. Yeah, whatever. I'm over it, to be honest with you. I'm going to leave him alone. He's not worth it, to be honest with you. You know, someone needs to call out his LARPing. So, yeah, anywho.
Well, I said to them, show me where in my reports I lied, exaggerated. If you can't show me that, then who's the oppressor? So I was forced to.
Oh, please. I think last year when ISIS made their resurgence in Syria, that was a signal Trump would lose the re-election. Yeah. See, the thing is, this guy, I cannot tell I think that he is really trying to play it up. I really do, because like he knows damn well why the fuck would they let you stay? Why would the fuck would they let you stay in Idlib? And where are you at in Syria now? Because the thing is, obviously, nobody wants you because you're such a loser. And they're just like, well, he's an American, so he's gonna get pissy. You know, that's really what it is. Like, this guy's, you know, if we kill a black dude, we're gonna look racist as fuck. So it's like, no, just keep him in jail for a little bit, then kick him. You know, I bet that's what it was too. It's like, this guy is complaining, he's bitching. Just kick him out. Just leave him. Golly, he's not even worth it. He's not even worth being tortured. You know, I hate to say it like that, but what is with this guy?
Leave their territories. I didn't want to. I mean, I'm 50 years old, and you know, you kind of get stuck in your ways. You know, I know where everything was at in my house, but I couldn't stay there. What am I going to do?
Oh, please. What? This guy. What a baby. What a child. I couldn't stay there. You know, I was stuck in my ways. I was 50 years old. I have a standard of living that I want to meet. You know? He could either just be quiet, stay silent. Hold on.
Could either just be quiet, stay silent, and just open up a hot dog and a.
Hold on. Okay. This guy claims to be a Muslim. Does he realize what's in hot dogs? He realizes that's made of like pork snouts and shit like that, right? I don't think that's exactly halal, buddy. I don't think that they would allow you to open a hot dog stand or a pizzeria with sausage that probably has pork in it. I don't think that they would allow that. Is this... I think this guy's just full of shit. I think this guy is absolutely full of shit. Yeah. I eat beef hot dogs. Oh, they have halal hot dogs? Oh, okay. Oh, they do? Okay. Okay, well, fair enough. All right. I'm too much of an American. All right. Okay. I also eat bratwurst. Oh, okay. I was like, go ahead.
In a pizzeria, or I could say I'm going to change my location and I'm going to continue to report. I'm going to continue to give a voice to the voiceless, and they just have to do what they have to do.
Pizza might be haram. Okay. He's going to still do the reporting, even though he went to jail for like almost a year. But he's like, yeah, I'm still going to report. You know, I could just change locations, or I could keep reporting. This guy.
I think that the Syrian people are special people. I just think that. They may not be, but I think that they're a special people. And I think that they have the ability to do some special things. So I do believe that they're going to say, we are not going to go back to those days of torture, indefinite detention, and fear. And I do think that they are going to move forward. I think that a lot of other different groups have tried their best to subjugate them again, and they failed.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think that if this is Abu Muhammad Jolani's attempt to do the same thing, I think he's going to fail also. And I think the Syrian people have tremendous resiliency, ingenuity, and I think that they're going to come out on top. It's going to cost, but I think they'll come out on top in the end.
Well, you can believe what you want. That's fine. And what I would say is that Hayat Tahrir al Sham gets support
crying
from
crocodile
this.
tears about, look what they've done to me. No, I came here not because I didn't even know who Abu Muhammad Jolani was. I'd never heard of Jabhat al-Nusra before in my life when I came to Syria. So I had no connection to them. And my remaining in these territories has no connection to them. I'm doing what I'm doing because it's the right thing to do. Now, I have to be willing to pay the price for that conviction. And I believe, and Allah knows best, I am willing to pay that price.
First time he's mentioned Allah. First time he's mentioned it.
That price is high some days. It's not fun. But I think it's the right thing to do, to give a voice to the voiceless so that the people can decide who they want to support and why, based upon statements and actions, and not just what other people said. So my fight continues. And as long as I'm effective, then I'll continue to be here. When I'm not effective anymore, I'll pick up my marbles and go.
This guy. Yeah. If you want to, you can say that, Kareem. That's fine. I don't know. Say what you want to about Assad, this and that, but yeah, Erdogan. Come on, man. I mean, what has Erdogan done? Doesn't Erdogan promise like a return like the Ottoman Empire and shit like that? You know, he claims to be fighting. You know, he's supportive of all Islam or something like that. I mean, what has he done, man? Say what you like. I said, I've said this throughout this whole thing. Say what you will about Assad and say he's awful, this and that, but it's like, yeah, what has Erdogan done realistically? He funds these folks. He funds Hayat Tahrir al Sham, and he, probably Bilal Abdul Kareem gets some of that money. They have, the Free Syrian Army that was in Syria, then they were sent to Libya, and then they went to Nagorno-Karabakh. So, I mean, it's like they've been all around, man. I mean, and this is all funded by him. And now, apparently, so I heard, I mean, I take this with a grain of salt, but apparently, Turkey is going to send back those S-400 missiles that he got from the Russians. He commands more respect and has done more to expand Turkish foreign policy. Okay, all right. If you want to say that, go ahead. When Muslims call God Allah when talking to non-Muslims and they aren't talking about religion in depth, it just sounds stupid. It really does. It really does. Yeah, it's just absolute LARP. Hold on. So let me make sure here. Turkish foreign policy? I thought that he said he spoke for all Muslims. See, that's the whole thing. Because there's two different things. You say Turkish foreign policy. I thought he spoke for all Muslims, though. Which is it? I'm curious, man. Like I say, this is why, I don't really care for, these big old leaders, this and that. I'm just like, no, they're all kind of cringe, bro. It's all just kind of silly, but whatever. I'm not going to make a big thing about it. If you like them, that's fine. If you like what Erdogan is doing, go ahead. I'll leave it there. Let's go ahead and see what good old, let's see what happens in LA, huh?
Yesterday, the California Highway Patrol announced the arrest of 2 suspects wanted in connection with the killing of 6-year-old Aiden Anthony Leos. There are few words to describe the feeling produced by the despicable actions of that day. The murder took place approximately 2 miles northeast of where we stand today on State Route 55. It goes without saying, no parent should be made to suffer the pain and loss Joanna, Joey, Alexis, and the rest of Aiden's extended family experienced that day. Both suspects, a male and female, are residents of Costa Mesa.
Damn, this dude looks familiar. I don't know about this. Looks like the one that You know what? I'm not going to get into that. Let's go ahead.
We recovered what we believe are the weapon and automobile used in the crime.
But why so much interest in this little boy? And I think I know the answer. It's because it could have happened to any one of us. We all drive the freeways of Southern California. We've all gotten upset at other motorists. Other motorists have been upset at us. I've thrown some gestures about myself, but it's never come to a situation of violence, and certainly not in my realm or your realm to the loss of a life. But I will say in general that when you shoot at an occupied vehicle with a gun, that's an inherently dangerous act. And you know when you're going down a freeway or a toll road at 75 to 80 miles an hour, that when you put a bullet into somebody's car, that's an inherently dangerous act that could result in a person crashing or being hit by a bullet and the like. And it's not just philosophical or theoretical, it is practical because it actually happened.
Wow. Well, there you go. There you go, yeah. And without doubt have been hearing of this boy's death every day. They were caught out and not having dinner, no mercy for them. Yeah, there you go. There you go, everybody. I think that's all I have to say. I already got the call to be quiet, so such is the way. That's all right. We'll keep it down. Yeah. Anyway, I think I'll keep it there. So let's go ahead and end this old stream here. Let's go ahead and find a nice little video here. Let's see here, yeah. Cali's really going to shit. Oh, what else is new? Texas will be going to shit pretty soon, too. Anywho, let's wrap this up. Let's see what we got here. Let's see. Let me change the. Let me go ahead and do the old. Let's do the old go home, Ami, go home. Let's go ahead and do that.